What's happening, guys? It's your boy, the Boxing Lowdown, and I'm back here with another video. And now, as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Feel free to drop a comment if you like, and I'll happily get back to you. Now, let's talk about this week's Mythical Monday matchup, man. Every week we do these fantasy fights on a Monday, and the responses have been great. I've been seeing your comments; they've been great to look through, and I'm loving all of your takes on the fantasy fights that I've been bringing up. So let's do another one for this week here, and let's talk about this fight. It's been spoken about before. And two all-time greats for sure. Two guys that are the better fighters of this generation, and their names are cemented in history for sure. And that is Andre Ward and Bernard Hopkins. Now, who would have won if these two would have met prime for prime? Now, I know the first thing that some people are going to be saying is that Hopkins' best years was probably as a middleweight at 160 pounds. And Andre Ward's probably, well, his prime years was at super middleweight, which is the weight above. So a little bit of difference there in weight divisions. But, Hopkins, first of all, Hopkins defied logic. Do you know what I mean? He boxed until in his mid-40s. He moved up the weights just superbly and just adjusted perfectly. He upset the apple cart on numerous occasions. Do you know what I mean? Hopkins was just an unbelievable fighter, man. And I would have loved to have seen how him and Ward would have got on. Do you know what I mean? Because there was a time when they did actually, when they were in the same weight division, but Hopkins was out of his prime and he was pretty much on the way out. And this is at light heavyweight. And Andre Ward was up there as well after he beat Kovalev. But yeah, that time for those two guys to fight was gone. I mean, that wouldn't have been the same sort of fight here. Now, I'm thinking of the Hopkins that you could say the one that moved up to light heavyweight and defeated Antonio Tarver. Or you can say the Hopkins that, upset the apple cart so many times. And you got Ward, who was just unbelievable as well. Unbeaten throughout his career. Unbeaten I think he only lost his last loss on record, Andre Ward was when he was 12 or something like that. So unbelievable when you think about it, to go undefeated that long as an amateur and as a pro. This would have been I say this would have been a good fight, but I don't think it would have been. I think it would have been an ugly fight. It probably wouldn't have been the best fight on the eye, but it would have been great from a technical standpoint to see who would have been able to impose their will on the other. Now, both of them are good at fighting inside. Both of them can be a bit dirty, but both of them are very technical. Both of them are silky. Both of them have got skills in abundance. And it's like a carbon copy, really. I don't know if you guys have seen, obviously I'm sure you have, that Spider-Man meme where they're both pointing at each other. This is the kind of fight it could have been, because both would have been able to imply their tactics on the other. Both of them can be slick when they need to be. Hopkins, when he started out, he was more of a come forward guy. He used to really put pressure on his opponents and really bully them. And then as he got older, he adjusted, he adapted. He became more of a mover. He became more cute, more accurate with his shots. And he did suffer a few losses along the way. He lost to the likes of Jermaine Taylor. That was disputed for me. There was the Winky Wright fight. I think that was a draw, wasn't it? And there are other fights along the way where Hopkins has took a bump here and there. But in those fights where he wasn't expected to win, like the Felix Trinidads, like the Antonio Tarvers, and those kind of fights there, where he was a huge underdog, he would go in and just be unbelievable, just mesmerize him. And you never know. In this fight with Andre Ward, could it be the same type of thing where people would think Andre Ward could be the slight favourite over Hopkins, maybe, and Hopkins go in there and do a job on Ward? Could you see that happening? Has anyone done a job on Ward? I mean, Kovalev was probably the closest in their first fight. That was a controversial decision win for Andre Ward. And many people thought Kovalev did enough to win that. Now, it's very difficult to analyse this one, because both of them have the style and skills to negate the other. That's why it probably wouldn't be that fun fest, that, all-out brawl. I don't think it would be like that at all. Probably be a few boos in the crowd and stuff like that. But in terms of who we have in the ring and what we have on display, the two guys are unbelievable technicians, man. And I think that this would have been a real close fight to call. Andre Ward, like I said, he's had a fantastic career. With the Kovalev fight, he had the rematch with Kovalev as well. He stopped him. Andre Ward was a Super 6 winner as well, defeating the likes of Kessler, Carl Froch along the way. This guy, man, he was one of the best super middleweights of all time, for sure. And, like I said, he's an all-time great as well, two-weight world champion. And he even teased the notion of going up to heavyweight, which was a crazy idea. But he did think about it before he then retired. And he retired on his own accord, Andre Ward. He didn't let the game get the better of him. He retired when he wanted to retire. And he retired when he still had something left. I mean, people were still saying that Andre Ward could come back now and maybe fight Canelo Alvarez. But Andre Ward, you know, he's not interested. You know, he's doing his thing outside the ring, which is great. And yeah, he was just unbelievably skilled fighter, very tough, solid. Same with Hopkins, man. Both men have hit the canvas. Hopkins has hit the canvas more times than Ward has during his career. Ward, I think it was the only time he hit the canvas was against Kovalev, actually. But yeah, both of them are tough, physically tough, strong. And this would have been a real gritty fight, I think. It would definitely go to points. 1,000,000% this one would go to points. And I think it would be a controversial decision. I'm going to edge Ward on this one by a controversial decision. But I just, like, in terms of the legacies, I think that Hopkins will probably go down as the better fighter in terms of, you know, legacy. But I think in this one-on-one matchup here, considering Hopkins did have a few bumps along the way, I could see maybe that being the case here with this one, where Ward might take a decision, maybe a controversial one. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below, guys. How do you see this fight going and why? Let me know your thoughts, man. I'm very interested in your ones in this one. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.